This is probably Anti-Peat. Strenuous exercise 6 to 7 times a week, high volume, overconsumption of protein, and worst of all, lowering carbs. Yeah, lowering carbs. This is what I looked like after about 5 years of peating. This is what I looked like after doing what I think is good. I love Pete. I've peated for about 7 years now, but he was also a do you even lift, wrong about exercise, parasites, and space, in my opinion. And he was also just an individual trying to figure shit out, like you and me, though a extremely smart and creative and keyed individual. He would likely agree with what I'm saying right now. Anyway, let's continue. Protein is one of the highest thermogenic foods and will keep you satiated for longer. We need to make sure that we have an absolute minimum intake of 1 gram of protein per pound of lean body weight. We will, however, be incorporating some PT principles to reduce stress to a minimum during these 10 weeks. I'm just going to share with you exactly what I'm doing. You can add or subtract whatever you want. We're going to use this time to acclimate ourselves to the map. The map is the environment that you'll be in the coming 10 weeks. We're taking the time to build a food and a gym regimen, a routine, and establish some stability in order to regulate metabolic condition. Step 1. Go to a sunny destination where you don't get winter sickness. This is Petey. I'm sorry if you don't have access to this. Step 2. I'm on a completely new map, so the very first thing that I did was get a gym membership. I'm assuming you already have one. Step 3. Calculate your macros. This is something that is extremely useful to do when you're not familiar with how much nutrition and calories you're actually getting. For years, I trained without knowing I had been grossly under-consuming protein. Once I started tracking, I increased protein from real foods and my progress shot up. After a cut, I basically stopped tracking because after having tracked macros for a while, you become good at estimating that you're getting what am I trying to say here? You get good at estimating what you're getting from foods. So we focus on our macros, but we want these macros to come from highly nutrient-dense foods. To say losing or gaining weight is simply calories in, calories out is a gross oversimplification. Broken down, foods consumed can trigger gene expression. I believe it is important to limit unnatural foods or highly processed foods. Use the macro calculator link in the description if you want to get this. Step 4. Find out where you can acquire all your foods now that you know your macros. We're going to explore the map to find out where we can get preferably organic whole foods. One thing that surprised me about Thailand is that it's not cheap. A lot of people say it's cheap, but where I'm at least, Nayang Phuket, it's not cheap. It's the chicken at the local supermarket seems to be mutated estrogen chicken that gets slimy when cooked, and the beef has a ton of flies on it. It's also grain-fed, and it took me quite a while of exploring before I actually found grass-fed beef from New Zealand. They also pour a ton of seed oils on a lot of dishes, so I can't really eat out. And when I do eat out, I just want steamed whitefish, for example, which nets me about 300 grams of actual fish meat, because they put in the tail and the head and the spine and whatever. And that's about $9. Since I eat about 600 grams of protein from meat a day, I am spending about $20 of food a day. That is the same as back in Holland. So food-wise, Thailand might be nice if you're a vegan that eats only fruits and likes to starve himself. Anyway, we want nutrient-dense foods, so incorporating some organ meats is quite a good deal. Organ meats are usually a little bit cheaper, and just incorporating some organ meats, maybe some liver, which is very popular right now, just once a week, maybe even once every 2 weeks, or maybe even once a month. It totally depends on your needs and what you feel you need. So check out the link to the food chart examples in the description or my Vitality Foods Index for inspiration. I look up to the More Than Muscle guys, Joel and Brock. They are probably in the top 7 naturals worldwide. Joel mentioned that he doesn't use any supplements at all, but let's not forget, this guy has access to strong sunlight year-round. Sunlight is like literal beams of the natural steroids. The difference is quite insane to me. I feel like I am slowly dying at the end of each winter in Holland, each year feeling progressively worse. There's an old theory from the previous century that sunlight is a similar force to radium. Anyway, in a lot of northwestern hemisphere countries, you don't have access to strong enough sunlight to actually trigger the corticosteroid vitamin D. I personally use the D-Minder app to check this. When I don't have access to year-round sun, then certain supplements are actually very beneficial to me. I begin supplementing in stage 1 as that's where the real cut begins, so we'll get into that by then. During this pre-cutting stage, stage 0, our aim is to establish a strong foundation of routine and habits that are conducive to the other stages. The intention is not to bulk or indulge, but rather to get used to consume real, preferably organic, whole foods that provide ample micro and macronutrients. This way, we don't deplete and stress our body too much when losing fat, preventing the yo-yo effect that all too often happens to keto carnivore cells or chuds that do a lot of fasting. So that was basically episode 1 of 10 weeks to win a bodybuilding competition. This is also actually a quest that you can get through my little Telegram channel. We actually formed like a little group, a party basically, to get lean together in 10 weeks. You can join that if you want to get absolutely shredded for spring. Link is in the bottom of the description. I don't know if episode 2 is going to be in the same style as this. This is more like a guide, I guess. I'd like it to be more like a vlog and perhaps a bit longer. Also a little bit easier to make for me, so I might just record a gym sesh. Let me know in the comments what you'd like to see or any ideas you have. I'm aiming to post another video next Friday. I hope you enjoyed this. Do like and subscribe. Thank you. これでおしまいです。じゃあな。